How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Alex, joined by co-host and great friend, Ralph.
Hey, Alex.
How's it going, man? The idea of us hosting and running a podcast has been in the works for, over a year, to be honest. So, Ralph, before we get into the nitty-gritty and everything gaming, just wanted to ask you, hear your side of things. What sparked your interest in wanting to get this podcast off the ground?
Well, one, I really wanted podcasts in general, but two, it was probably the 4 months of you begging me to do this podcast. But yeah, no, that was like a really good time. But I think it's just a good time for us to, hang out, talk about the things we love.
Cool. Kind of on my end, I was running to quote unquote a creative dry spell, right? Where students and other young adults or adults will be able to relate to this, where you have your daily work routine, day in, day out, 9 to 5, whatever. And routines are great. I love them, don't get me wrong. But sometimes it can kind of leave you bored and wanting to do something else that curates your more passionate side of things. So that's mainly why I wanted to start this podcast. I actually originally had a blog going for video gaming, and that was cool for a little bit, but I realized that writing about video games isn't quite the same as talking to one of your best friends about it every week and, hearing about our listeners and, other things that they have to say about the industry and what we're doing. So on my end, that's kind of why I wanted to get this started, and I'm happy that we're doing this. This is our very first episode. So if you are listening to us, you're an OG, and yeah, we love you.
That love is a really strong word, but yeah, Alex loves you for listening to us, guys.
And it was a long work week, Labor Day weekend, gotta love it. I'm here with one of my best friends. I've got a glass of wine. But yeah, chilling back, talking about video games, got our glass of wine. So, without further ado, we've got a lot of stuff we're playing this week that we want to talk about. Before we get into our playing currently, we would be doing our boys at Sony and Sucker Punch a huge disservice if we did not have a segment about Ghost of Tsushima. We won't get into topics of Game of the Year just yet, but
what's my Game of the Year?
After Ralph and I had played through it, we kind of looked at each other and we're like, damn. This is the nominee for sure, which will come later, of course, in the year. But yeah, we definitely just wanted to touch base on it, give our honest feedback about the game, what we liked, what we didn't like. And, as always, as you guys are listening to this, if you feel like you need to tell us what you thought as well, highly encouraged. We can give you a shout out on the next episode. So, Ralph, I want to start off with you. Ghost of Tsushima, what would you rate the game out of 10 to start?
I would probably rate it around, I would say a 9. It's a 9 game.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah, what would you rate it?
I was going to say maybe an 8.
An 8?
Yes, well. Which, we'll get into it, and maybe I'll persuade you to lower your rating.
Wow. Well, for the listeners that don't know what Ghost of Tsushima is, or don't have a PlayStation, what is Ghost of Tsushima, Alex?
So Ghost of Tsushima is by Sucker Punch, and they've done some pretty popular games in the past. Most notably Infamous 1, 2, and there was a spin-off on First Light, on the PS4. It takes place in pre-modern Japan, not China. Sorry, guys. It takes place in pre-modern Japan, loosely based on historical events. Obviously, this isn't you're not going to go to your history professor and say, hey, I know everything about pre-modern Japan and Tsushima because I played this game.
I do. I know everything about the Mongol invasion, about Japan.
Yes, exactly. But, it is loosely based on that, which I think is super cool. The idea of it, to some extent, grounded in reality. And it's about the Mongol invasion, not Genghis Khan, but his great-grandson, Kublai Khan, and his cousin. They are raiding invading Japan, starting with the island of Tsushima, which is off the coast of Japan, of course.
And you rated it an 8. That's so low.
Okay, so an 8 is very good, though. Right?
Yeah.
If we're, American school systems aside, a 5 out of 10 is average, just based on logically placed numbers. Obviously, like if you get a 5 out of 10 in the American school system, that's a hard F, and your parents will beat you.
Wow.
But a 5 out of 10, in every other sense, is average, right?
Well, so one thing that I did want to bring up, so, you and I both have full-time jobs. We're both very busy, and we have to be very, careful about what games we play. So for someone that has a limited amount of time, yes, 8 is a very good score, and that's a really good game. However, if you are going to pick your one game that you can sneak out to and play for, the week or the weekend, I don't know if people would want to play an 8. So that's why I'm saying that it's a low score, right? Because if you only have a limited amount of time to play a game, you'd want to start playing your 9s, your 10s, because you don't, even though it's a good game, you want to make sure that the amount invested into your entertainment is worthwhile.
True. I actually 100% agree with that. I will say, due to global circumstances, i.e. COVID, the idea of spending a night in and just binging a open world game is a lot more manageable, right? And especially when one is so gorgeous as Ghost of Tsushima, and we can dig into what we like about it on that note. So the graphics, all right, there's good and there's bad. Okay. Actually, I'll say this: there's great and there's okay regarding graphics. My jaw literally dropped when after you get through the introduction stage, when you see you have your horse and you're riding through the field and it says presented by Sucker Punch, and then it has Ghost of Tsushima riding through his field. My jaw literally dropped at how gorgeous and breathtaking the environment was. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they really put on the budget for this one sequence. And then you're like, shit, no. The entire map, the entire island of Tsushima, they did a great service by having it look that gorgeous. On
that note, then, you're saying a lot of these positive things, and obviously because I rated a 9, I was more positive on the game than you. What brings it down for you to make it into an 8? So,
on the topic of graphics, the actual character models are okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for being on the PS4 Pro and at the end of the PS4 life cycle, the character models are just okay.
But it's an open world game, though.
Yeah.
You can't fault it for that. They have to have those, everyone looks the same. It's the same looking monk walking around.
Okay, but I'm sure you encounter this. After you complete a mission or you clear a Mongol camp, Jin's face, when you transition, he'll give his whatever you named your horse this look, and I'll be I just start laughing when they have these segue transition animations. But again, I don't necessarily... I think you're able to fault it.
So you're a graphic snob.
Yes and no. Yes and no. But again, the actual environment is breathtaking. Probably the best I've seen. Don't hate me for this. I haven't played Last of Us 2, so I think that would be possibly contender. I think you can chime in on that, though.
Last of Us 2, that's a very unfair comparison because, one... I'm sure budget-wise, Last of Us had more money than Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
And 2...
That's fair.
The level of quality for Naughty Dog games, especially with the tech that they use, with the pedigree that they've had with Uncharted, the Last of Us, they've always put a strong amount of effort into polish character models and graphic fidelity in their games. We have to also understand that Ghost of Tsushima is a new IP. It's a new game. So whenever Ghost of Tsushima 2 comes out, I'm sure it's going to be 10 leagues better than what it is now.
I hope there isn't a second one, which I'll get into.
You don't think? But the Mongols invade again.
Yeah,
I mean, a second one? That's interesting.
It can be ghosts of another island, not Tsushima, which I'll get into in a little bit,
But yeah, other than graphics, what brings it down to be an 8? Because I don't think graphics should be the end-all, be-all. This game doesn't get, a masterful or masterpiece rating from Alex, right? So what else?
Very, very little games do.
Oh, okay. So what else in the game that you didn't like?
Okay, so and again, so with the graphics, I just don't want to say these graphics are absolutely gorgeous and mind blowing, and then just leave it at that. All right, you got to take them down a peg. You can't let them have all that satisfaction. I would say another thing I didn't necessarily like was I think the map could have been smaller.
Okay.
Right. I don't think it wasn't Skyrim. It wasn't really Witcher 3 grand of scale, where like you look at the map and you're like, oh my god, like it's overbearing.
See,
like,
but that's an unfair comparison though, because I know for a fact that one of your favorite games is Witcher 3, and that map is 5 times bigger than what Ghost of Tsushima is.
And so what I was gonna get to is, I think for how big Ghost of Tsushima's map is, there's not enough substantial quests, activities, content, whatever you want to call it, on the map. There is a metric fuck ton of fox dens.
But you need to get your charms, Alex.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying, like, you see, like, the yellow bird every, like, 10 minutes, which is a nice little helper to find your way along these. And then it's like, okay, it's just another fox den, like, out of 60. It's another hot spring. It's another haiku. And I think, like, when I did, like, the first couple haikus, I was like, that is so cool. Like, it's such a novel thing.
Later
cool,
on
like,
in the game, you pick random crap.
Yeah, like, the first one was like, dude, I'm gonna, like, read all these, like, okay, which one works thematically with how Jin is feeling right now? And then as I progressed in the game, I was on, like, the second or third part of the island, I would just be, like, texting someone, just, like, clicking X on, like, just give me the headband already.
Our listeners are gonna be like, I have no clue what they're talking about. Haikus, fox dens, birds.
Even if you haven't beaten it, if you have played it, which, again, we both highly rated it. We're being a little critical, sure, but great freaking game. Again, nominee for Game of the Year. So would you say that's a fair statement that given the amount of coverage the map has, there's not enough good content? Right.
And, like, the other thing, too, is, I don't believe a perfect game out there exists. Like, I don't think perfect games are real.
Do you say that, so, like, an objective rating can never be a 10? Or, like, do you have personal ratings that you give a 10?
Yes. So, like, objectively, I don't think a game can be perfect. Okay. Because there's always going to be a flaw. Like, there's going to be... unless it's Persona 5, but
that's amazing.
But objectively, with games, even with Ghost of Tsushima, like on certain points where I'm like, I just want this game to be over. But
did you have that thought?
A little bit, like here and there, because I have other games to play and I'm an adult. Sure. Yeah, so
sometimes it'd be like that, listeners. Sometimes it'd be like that.
But what do you call it? But personally, the way I felt about the game is, the reason I'm rating it a 9 is because I wasn't even going to play Ghost. You told me, yo, Ralph, you got to check out this game. And I'm like, no, I don't want to play this game. But he's like, yeah, no, you have to play it. So I ended up picking it up and I played it. And I'm like, it's a good game. So I kept on playing it. And the way that I think of, it's a good game is when time just kind of disappears.
Avengers,
right? but if a game like doesn't allow you to realize, oh great, 4 hours just passed by,
man, yeah, and dangerous,
and you haven't walked the
great.
dogs yet, that's definitely a good contender of what it is. But like, I think the game is just like interesting, and personally for me, I really gravitate towards games that have a really good story, that have really interesting characters, and Ghost of Tsushima at this time was just that really extra itch for me, and it was really great.
Okay, so on that note with the story, I was very pleasantly surprised at how good the story was. Right. Because I think a lot of people who did play this game were like, oh, okay, this is easy comparisons to like, Sekiro or Nioh 2. Yeah, both action-adventure games based in pre-modern Japan. And to be fair, like, especially with Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, there are some gameplay themes that are similar, right? Stealth, pairing, action, right? Swordplay like that. So it's fair, and that's really why I was very excited over this, because one, like, Japan, pre-modern Japan, samurai, like, dude, they're great. Who doesn't love them, right? And I freaking love Sekiro. If you did have a chance to follow us on Instagram and see our bios of our favorite games, Sekiro made my cut. Love it. Love the idea of getting my ass kicked 10 plus times on a boss fight, and then having that aha moment where you beat them. Never gets old.
For sure. Well, for me, Ghost of Tsushima is definitely still a 9.
Yeah.
But for our listeners out there, that don't have the amount of time that some other people may have, would you suggest Ghost of Tsushima, or is it a good game length for someone to put in? I think I clocked in around 20 hours for the game. Was that like worth it for you? You did platinum the game though.
Yeah, I did. So you beat it in 20 hours?
I think so.
Huh. I didn't see. I don't know. Is there a way to check in game your hours?
Maybe.
Besides, like if you just do a save, maybe.
I don't know. In my head, I beat it 20 hours. Maybe it was 40, and I'm
right.
Trying to rationalize the time I spent in a video game.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like I had to have spent like at least 40 hours. Again, in an open world, it's easy to not have an optimized game route. Like, okay, I'm gonna hit X, Y, and Z, and I have to do this way to optimize my routing. Like, there's so many times in Ghost of Tsushima, again, echoing the idea that the landscape is effing gorgeous, that you just want to go there to go there.
Well, the other thing too, I have this terrible habit. And like I said, it's because, we're all adults here. I have this terrible habit where I will look up how long to beat a game. I don't know if you've been on that 100%, website.
Yeah.
I'll do howlongtobeatagame.com, and I will search Ghost of Tsushima, and I will double check how long that game is, and I'm like, all right, I can do that. And then the other habit that I have is, some people might not want to do this. I will check chapters. So I will check how many chapters I have left to figure out, all right, well, I can go dick around, I guess, because I have this many chapters left. So that's one thing that's really important for me too. But yeah, no, I think Ghost of Tsushima is definitely worth someone's time. Obviously you can't just be spending $60 every time a game comes out.
Totally.
But, yeah. I think it definitely is worth the $60. And if you want something like a good way to kind of unwind after a long day, like Ghost of Tsushima can definitely give you that. And obviously, like, who doesn't want to play as a samurai? So
for sure. There are two more points I'd like to harp about, if you would give me your ear.
Of course.
So I did read an interview with one of the Sucker Punch devs, and they stated how they did not want this game to have supernatural elements. And of course, there's some little tracing, though, like when you swipe up on the middle bar.
Changes the weather.
Yeah, right. And it shows you the wind, which I think is a great mechanic.
Right.
Opposed to like reopening your map, closing it, like marking a quest, like you swipe up, pretty seamless. That's, I guess you could say, supernatural as well. These golden birds, foxes, whatever. But it's nothing crazy. And I think that the idea of not having supernatural elements, having to keep as human as possible, goes so well with the quests and the narratives you talked about a little bit ago.
Right.
Because, I mean, they're in the middle of a war, an invasion. And so if you end a quest like, yeah, everything's happy, we won, we're the good guys, that would be bad writing, right? Just not believable to some sense. And that is one thing I found Ghost of Tsushima, which was a novel concept to me, right? It's new. Not a lot of games do this, where after you complete the quest, you kind of feel like shit. Like, it's not just, okay, yeah, everything's great.
Well, you haven't played Last of Us 2 yet, so.
True. Yeah, but the thing is, like, with Last of Us 2, it's probably, that's the main overarching quest. This was, like, hammered into you in Ghost of Tsushima that, yeah, this was a small victory, but in the grand scheme of things, we're not even close to being over with everything. Like, there was one, I remember, where this guy ran away because he was seeking help, and bandits, not even Mongols, bandits, right, that born and raised in Tsushima, killed, like, his family, and you hunt them down, you kill them, and you have to report back to this guy, hey, sorry, like, I got there too late, your family died. And that was the end of the quest. Like, I got the experience, sure, I got some silver ore, and, like, I tried to, like, talk to him after, like, hey, bro, are you good? And you're not allowed to interact with him. He's just, like, sitting there in silence, and you're like, wow.
Right.
That's what I'm left with.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, about, like, not adding supernatural elements to the game and, trying to keep it as real as possible, one part of it that I do love thematically for the game, and, I don't want to spoil anything for any of our listeners, but, it's just really interesting, like the world building in Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Because it's not historically accurate by any stretch of the imagination.
Inspired by historical events, sure.
But just the fact that they're trying to ground it in realism is really cool. For instance, the they'll do like a quest where, like, my father was taken by this river monster, and the river monster that you're trying to follow tracks, and you're like, these are big footprints. I'm like, like, are they going to do like river monster stuff? That's cool. But no, it's just bandits again.
Yeah,
they just murdered the dad. But the other aspect about Ghost of Tsushima on the story side that thematically is really interesting and is cool is that you're trying to build up this legend, right? And it kind of shows up within the game how folklore and legend starts happening, and as you do more stuff for the people of the game, like within the world, they'll be like, you're like, they said the ghost was 10 feet tall and had fangs, and then you're just a normal samurai dude. I'm like, you're not 10 feet tall. I'm like, no.
Jin's a pleasant guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Drink some sake with him.
Yeah, but like I think the like grounding in realism and seeing how a legend is born and how like that can steamroll after a couple of different things that you do because you're scaring people, I think is really interesting too.
For sure. So there are some mainline quests, which I think I definitely enjoyed all of them. I'm looking back on it and I'm like, there wasn't one that I ever really disliked. Like the narrative just keeps stringing you along in the best way possible. So just I want to ask you, and listeners, hopefully if you want to chime in on our Instagram or Twitter or whatever, YouTube comments, which quests you liked, or email. Yeah. Which of the
Where's that email, Alex? What's our email?
It is professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com. Straight into the point, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully that wasn't taken. Otherwise, not sure what we would have done. So which of the mainline story quests did you like?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because
you don't have to like go deep.
It is a little bit spoilery. I would say so the island is split up into 3 sections, and I would say the first final boss on that island, and when you find out about like there's a person that doesn't show up.
Oh, right.
That was a great ending, and you can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel that that's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. Right. But I believe at the end of that fight, something happens, and they go to another castle or whatever, and like that cutscene was gut wrenching. It was really great.
It was great. Yeah, right. I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, this person's a piece of shit, but like this cutscene is really good.
Yeah, it is great. I really loved Masako's, Lady Masako's questline. Hers,
the entire questline, or just like the end of it?
The entire time of it. So for the listeners, and I'll try to keep this spoiler free. There's a family dispute where basically her entire family was slaughtered, and the whole time there's 9 quests in her questline, I believe. You're trying to find out who the killers are, and every time you get closer, it's always like, this may have been someone close to me, but she's always in denial about it. And when you finally get to the end, it's
so good.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so emotional on her end. Again, it kind of keeps in that sense of, we won, but at what cost?
Did you catch the charm that you get at the end? I thought it was really clever.
Catch the charm.
It's called I think it's called the Charm of Delusion.
Yes.
And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is great. And kind of along the lines of bittersweet endings being a theme in this game, kind of grounded the reality of war and also at war with your own people, is the main hero, right? Jin. When you're at the end of the game, again, I'm going to keep this spoiler free, it's tough. It's emotional, very good writing.
Did you have honor or did you not have honor at the end, Alex?
I did not have honor.
Okay. Interesting.
I did not have honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's, those are takes on Ghost. I don't know if you want to say any final words about it.
I think just check it out. If you have a chance, you have a PlayStation, check it out. I'm sure it's going to be on sale by like the holiday season.
Black Friday, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic game. Definitely play that.
Yeah. It's tough because in Black Friday, next gen's going to be out. Terrible PS5. Idea. It's, and we briefly talked about this when we were just chatting, playing Avengers, is there's just so many games.
Right.
It's hard.
And that's why you listen to us, because then we can tell you what to skip and what to play.
Truth. Yeah. Here at Professionally Casual Gamers, we like you guys, right? We're on the work schedule. If you're on the school schedule, time is a rarity in some sense.
Right.
And so, that was Ghost of Tsushima. It was a ghost of our past. We are currently playing games we want to talk to you about. And I'm going to hand it over to my boy Ralph. Talk to you about Persona 5 Royal.
Yes. So I'm playing Persona again. For those who do not know, Persona 5 is, just like this anime game, essentially. And
great introduction. Great turn off. If you're a weeb, you should check it out.
No. So it's a really interesting game. It has probably the most style. I will die on this hill.
Cool. Yeah,
Persona 5 has the most style
yeah.
out of any game that you will ever play in your entire life. It doesn't matter if it's now, it doesn't matter if it's 50 years from
until
now.
Persona 6 comes
Persona
out.
5 will have the most style out of any game out there, and I will die on this hill. It has fantastic music. It has fantastic combat, fantastic characters. Literally, the UI design. The UI UX design is breathtaking every single time. So I will fight anyone who tells me there's another game that has more style than Persona 5. But I am playing Persona 5.
Jet Set Radio.
Nah, not even a chance.
It's it's a good game, though.
Persona 5, yes, it's an anime game, but essentially the gist of it is that you have an alternate personality within you that you use to fight, evildoers out there. You're playing as a high schooler, and you essentially get to see, how corrupt and terrible the world is. And you get bestowed this amazing power as you play throughout the game. And it gives you the opportunity to change the heart of all of these corrupt people around you. And it's kind of cathartic at this point, right? Because it gives you it's a very cathartic game because you can clearly see all of these terrible people and you can change their heart and they become better people. And it's kind of great like that.
Kind of, to tie this back into Ghost of Tsushima, this game
You just love Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, clearly I need to give it... Okay, fine. 8.5.
Okay.
Where Ghost of Tsushima was solely grounded in reality, Persona 5 does such a brilliant job, in my opinion. And I haven't played Royal, but I have beaten the original Persona 5 twice, which is kind of why I haven't played Royal, because I've already invested 180 hours into this game. But Persona 5 does an absolutely fantastic job having, like you said, these corrupt people who you could honestly see in our world now on top of these fantastic...
It's also really funny because at the beginning of the game, they tell you, all of these people are a work of fiction. Please make sure that you understand that all of these people are a work of fiction.
Yeah, I remember
Please
that.
agree.
Yeah, it does a great job of working with those two opposite ideologies in tandem very well. I think it's a great thing for Persona, but...
terrible for me because, like I said, I don't have that much time. My
dad schedule,
right?
For your Instagram.
My
post,
my first playthrough of Persona 5 was 120 hours, and
which is the average time.
The average time, yeah. And what I've heard is that Royal adds on another 40 hours at the end of the game.
Disgusting.
So
but great.
I am crazed. Over one weekend, I did 50 hours, and I don't even understand how I did that.
Your poor fiance.
Yeah, no, literally, Alex and I have talked about this before. This one night, I think it was Sunday, where I was playing Persona 5. She already went to bed, and because the way I play games is I hang out with my fiance, and I hang out with my dogs, and then roughly at around 9 o'clock when they go to bed.
You're like Batman.
Right.
When night comes around, you put on the cape,
play some video games, put on my weeb suit. It's fine, but literally. This one time I finished playing and I look up and I'm like, fuck, it's 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning on a Saturday, or at that point Sunday. So trying to turn off the TV quietly, which makes no fucking sense. I'm trying to get off the couch quietly, and every step on this
like a thief in the night.
All these wood fucking floors are just you fucking suck, Ralph. Why did you play till 5 in the fucking morning? I was just oh my god, I felt like I was cheating on Sam with a video game.
Yeah, just trying to hide the kiss on your collar, trying to sneak around so quietly.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But on that other note, I am playing Persona 5. What do you call it? Alex and I are both playing Avengers, which is great. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we are.
this is such a meme, but I'm also playing Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends, action mobile game.
Yeah, so I'm playing Raid Shadow Legends, which is terrible.
And as a heads up, we are not sponsored by them, so Ralph isn't being paid to say that. However, Raid Shadow Legends, if you're listening to this and you want to hit us up, let me know.
We'll make it. That's how we make it.
Yeah.
Just Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship.
100%.
But yeah, no, like Raid Shadow Legends for some fucking reason just like ended up hooking me. And it's just like a good game to play in bed. It's terrible. But like I keep on playing it and I don't know why. But yeah. That's what I'm playing. What are you playing, Alex?
No, I definitely feel that with the idea of mobile games.
Yeah.
Mobile games have, for me at least, like super low retention rate. I don't really know what it is. The Switch I'm usually good about, but like I haven't been playing my Switch a lot lately because when like I visit my parents out in the suburbs or like I visit some of my friends out in the burbs, like I take the train out and then I would like, okay, that's like an hour, a little more to play Switch, right? There and back. Due to global circumstances, I travel out to them or, travel in general a lot less. But I did have a little accident with my pinky the other day that kind of inhibits hardcore gameplay. So I cut through my pinky with a knife. Hopefully my parents aren't listening to this because then they will send me freakishly long text about how I'm irresponsible, but whatever. So
how did you puncture your pinky, Alex?
All right. So, I'll totally admit it was on me. It wasn't like I was set up for this.
So would you say you were being irresponsible?
Yeah. Okay, I've got fall allergies. I had some major brain lag and involved a knife and separating two beef frozen patties, and that's all I'm going to say. So after this happened, after I went to the doctor, didn't take an ambulance because again, we're in America and it costs an arm and a leg. Came back and I'm like, well, I can't play Neo 2 because, it requires like you to be in your peak form, at least for like your first playthrough. Playing through the bosses again, whatever, you have a rhythm for it. But
athletes out there are just like peak form.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then my sister actually lent me the new Paper Mario game, Paper Mario and the Origami King. So I was like, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to dive into that. So shout out to my sister Sharon lending me that. And yeah, I'm only like a couple hours in. And I've played the first one on the N64, really liked it. I actually played it with my sister back when we were kids. Fun little bonding activity. And I played through the second one, Thousand Year Door, which I'm going to get back to this in a little bit. Thousand Year Door has like a huge cult following.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you like...
I've never played any of the Paper Mario.
Okay,
so.
like they're good games. At least the first two, because those are the only ones I've played. Like they're fun. Dude, Thousand Year Door has like a crazy cult following. So, and one of my buddies, it's like probably one of his favorite games. So I was talking to him about this one. We were both kind of excited for it. And then, as more information kept being released about the game, he was turned off by it. Right? Because, for instance, like from what I can tell, from what I've heard about, there's no experience. So you do battles, right? And the battle system is fun.
So it's not an RPG.
Like, not really. Right. Yeah, exactly. Not really. So you do battles, the battles are like puzzles, which is fun, novel idea, novel concept, where it has like a ring of like Goombas or Koopas, for example, and then you need to you have X amount of turns to maneuver them in like the most optimal way to kill them in like the shortest amount of turns. So, and then on top of that, what it does stay true with Paper Mario is, the combat system, although it is like turn-based, it is active at the same time. So like if you jump, you have to hit A as soon as you jump on the enemy and it'll do more damage. Right? So it's cool. It's not just like...
You're not bored the entire time.
Right. I mean, you might hate me for saying this. It's not like brain dead Pokemon. Where here's this long animation, here's this move, and the next one. I know. He's giving me this horrible because he's a...
No, you're completely true. No, that's completely right. Pokemon is... I'm not going to dive into Pokemon during this episode because it will literally be like a 6-hour podcast.
But yeah, the idea of like keeping you actively engaged in the combat system is super cool. Definitely something that's been good in not only the Paper Mario series, but the Mario and Luigi saga. They've been on like the Nintendo DS, like Game Boy Advance, if you guys have had a chance to play those. But yeah, so the idea of that combat system, but also if you don't get XP, then why am I doing these combat systems? Or why am I doing these battles in the first place? You get coins, but you get coins for, like, literally anything.
What's the coins for?
I haven't figured out yet. But I have over, like, 10,000 coins, and I haven't even been close to dying.
Mario has a new hat? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, it's fun. Like, the dialogue is witty. Like, literally in, like, the first 5 minutes, Mario and Luigi are pulling up to Peach's castle, and Luigi's like, oh, okay, hold on, I'm gonna find a place to park this cart, because I don't want to tip valet. And I'm just like, what?
Oh, man.
Luigi hit me with that line. Like, it's funny. Like, they know to, like, not take themselves too seriously. They're like, okay, you know, like, it's Paper Mario, right? It's not like Mario Odyssey. It's Paper Mario. It knows to not take itself too seriously, to kind of cut back with some jokes, keep you with some fun gameplay. The aesthetics, you know, not Persona 5 level, super different, but, like, it's fun. Like, the idea of, like, paper and origami, they really double down on that.
That you even brought in Paper Mario to even consider it.
It's fun, 5. It's colorful, it fits thematically. Sorry. Right. It just, like, knocked my mic a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's super chill. So, like, if it's late after a work day and I don't want to get my ass kicked in Neo 2, I can just chill back and play some Paper Mario.
Right.
So it's a nice option to have, in contrast to, you know, and I'll get into this now with Neo 2. Oh, actually, no, what I do want to address with Paper Mario is the community. So typically with games that I'm going to play or that I've just finished, I'll check out the community, whether, like, on Reddit or, like, IGN, like, their guide, something what comments are going on, whatever, or what, like, other famous YouTubers have to say. The community for this Paper Mario game is super toxic.
Oh, yeah?
Super toxic.
Okay.
Which is so surprising because, again, it's Paper Mario.
Is
right?
that, like...
It's not like you're...
Is that not normal? In my head, all video game communities are toxic, so...
Well, okay, so their thing is, it's not Thousand Year Door. It's not the one for the GameCube.
Uh-huh. Right,
and there's, like, 5 or 6 Paper Mario games.
Right.
So this isn't, like, the third iteration. It's obviously the latest one. It's like 5 or 6, but basically, like, they will troll the Reddit posts and threads and just talk absolute smack about this game. And there'll be people like, yeah, you know, obviously this isn't Thousand Year Door, but I still like it for X, Y, and Z. Like, it's fine. And they'll be like, no, you can't do that. Why would you support it? Yada yada. And there's even, like, a pinned thread. It's like, hey, if you are, like, antagonizing other people, like, we'll ban you from the subreddit. And it's like, wow. Like, I get, like, if you don't like it and you don't want to support it, you know, that's fine. But if someone just someone acknowledges its shortcomings, but, you know, like, it's still Paper Mario at its core. It still has the wit. It still has the charm. It still has the look, the music. Right. It's still there, like, the combat system for the most part. I don't know, it's crazy to me. They'd be able to, like, put someone down that much. So it's kind of a turnoff to, like, get invested into the Paper Mario community just because I know, like, those are the people there.
I didn't realize that this was such a...
No, it's not.
Big...
Yeah, no, Thousand Year Door has, like, a huge cult following. It's a great freaking game.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the means to legally play it, you totally should. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah. My friend who's, like, a huge Thousand Year Door advocate, not on that level of, like, the Reddit trolls, but he's like, yeah, you know, like, I wish it would go back to its roots because I really like that, which, you know, I totally respect. On the other hand, Neo 2.
Very similar games.
Literally the opposite.
Polar opposites.
Yeah, so Neo 2, it perplexes me because I would always see these great, fantastic reviews of it online prior to buying it. So it was on sale recently. I think I got it on Amazon for like $20. Right, $20, Neo 2, great reviews.
It just came out too, right?
It's a Souls-like. Yeah, no,
That's
it did.
Cheap.
It did. So I was like, okay, sure. Like, I'm losing money if I don't get it.
Oh, okay.
That's how that works, right? For gamers, it is how it works. So I got it, and people are like, "Oh, game of the year! This is the best, Souls-like. This is better than Bloodborne. This is better than Sekiro." I'm like, shit, I have to play it now.
Did you play Neo 1?
No, so
Neo 1 was free on PlayStation.
I don't know if I had Plus at that time.
Oh, man.
Regardless, I watched my friend play Neo 1, so the combat system is super fun. Not ever going to argue that. It might be my favorite out of all the Souls. So basically, like, and it's kind of similar.
More than Sekiro?
Yeah. I honestly, yeah.
So why is Sekiro on your favorite games list and not Neo 2?
Well,
spotted, Alex, caught in a lie.
I'll get into it, but for one, I haven't finished Neo 2, so I can't honestly give that sort of judgment. But when you attack, you can do this thing called a key burst,
right?
Which is you hitting R1 at like kind of thing about Gears of War and the reload mechanic, where if you hit R1 or RB at the right time, you reload faster, right? Same thing with Neo 2. And you get your stamina back so you could do more actions. And there are a lot of times where if you don't do a key burst correctly, like, you will die because you have stamina and you can't dodge or block or whatever. So it's fun. It keeps you on your feet. If you make a mistake like that, it's not like, oh man, I got unlucky, right? It's like, okay, I messed up there and I know I can do better with it. The boss design is great. The bosses are super fun. I would say I'm about 45% of the way done with the game. I looked at like how many missions there are.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like what you did, yeah. There's 20 missions, so I'm about halfway there.
How long have you been playing the game?
Again, I don't think there's... I think actually there might be a timer.
I hate it when they don't.
There might be a timer.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a while, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But...
It was like 20 hours?
Yeah, probably along those lines, right? Yeah, the boss designs are really good. There are definitely bosses where you're like, wow, I literally didn't even get through 10% of his HP. How am I going to do this? But I love that when you keep battling it over and over, you make changes to your game plan, you make a game plan, and you get better at it, and you get to actually see your progress. Like, that's super rewarding for me. That's why I especially love the Souls-like games. So, but other than that, other than like the combat and the boss design, everything else is kind of mediocre to me.
Right.
So one thing I do find awkward about it is that it's a looter.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
It kind of is. Yeah, I played Neo 1.
Yeah, it's like you get a bunch of equipment, and it's separated into like common, epic, rare, legendary, whatever. And that seems kind of antithesis to the idea of a Souls-like.
Yeah. Do you still get your spirit animals? Your fox?
Yeah, you do.
Phoenix,
You get. And honestly, like, one of the coolest bosses I fought was, so you pick one of 3, and that boss has the other 2.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, the boss design is super good.
Pokemon.
Sure.
Like they stole it from
Gary-O,
Pokemon.
yeah. Or,
Gary-O.
Yeah, that's not the Professor Oak, that's his uncle.
Uncle?
Isn't his uncle?
His grandfather.
Okay, whatever.
Wow.
Clearly I'm not invested in the Pokemon series as you are. But yeah, so the what was I saying with this? Yeah, so the boss design and the combat is super good. The looting system, again, yeah, that's where I was going with that. It seems antithesis to the Souls-like kind of moniker, like their flow, because to me this is you and your raw skill, your reactions, reading the enemy movements, not, oh, I have this awesome weapon, this gives me an edge inherently, right? Like, that's less on the player's actual skill. Granted, I mean, do people beat the game barehanded? Can they? Yes, I'm sure there are tons of runs of that. But for, like, my first run with this game, with this series, in a more casual sense, that seems a little weird to me. It's annoying to do the inventory check every now and then where you just mass purge your menu. I think that takes away from the action I could be investing in. So it is what it is. I mean, honestly, I'm sure some people like the looting aspect of it, though. So that's more of a personal thing.
Right.
But thematically, I do think it kind of clashes. Not gonna lie. The story also is very uninteresting. Again, not done with it. So, but as of like being 40 to 50% of the way in, I'm not invested in the story whatsoever. Like, Sekiro's story wasn't that good, but it was way more interesting to me.
Right.
But like, again, you don't really parry in this iteration of the game. It's more about kind of like the Dark Souls, dodge, attack, which is totally fine. I think especially coming off of Ghost, where parrying is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Probably more important than dodging in that game. That's something I've grown to like more. to be honest.
For someone that gave Ghost of Tsushima 8, you love talking about Ghost and all of the fantastic mechanics that game has.
I think it was a great game. I think 8, now 8.5, as I've adjusted.
I'll get you an 8.8 by the end of the podcast.
Yeah. No, like an 8.5, like that's a fantastic game.
Right.
That is. Like Neo right now, I'd give it like a 6.5 or a 7.
Yeah. So that's your objective score. What's your feeling score?
For Neo?
Yeah.
Kind of the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like so there are main quests and there's sub-quests. There's 20 main quests, there's significantly more sub-quests.
Right.
The sub-quests will they'll literally like, copy-paste the environments.
Okay.
Not all of them, but like some of them will just be like literally the same thing. You're just running it back. It's like, okay. And it's like, they're all like super dark. So, and my TV is by a window.
Yeah.
So like, there's just like a mad glare. I'm like, this is,
you can't play it.
This is a little unpleasant. But like, as far as like the main quest, those environments are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to really write home about in my opinion, but they're okay. You can't jump, so that might bug you if you play it.
For sure. Well, out of the games that we're playing, what would you recommend to anyone right now? Like,
I think
would you play...
I think for Neo 2, for $20, if you're looking for a game and you're into high action, not really invested in a story, you just want to get in there and have fun, Neo 2 is good. Paper Mario, you're dealing with the Nintendo Switch tax, the first part of Nintendo, so that'll probably be a 60 for
it's never going on sale.
Yeah, forever.
Nintendo games never go on sale, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I've only been playing it for a couple hours, but it's fun. I think like if you have kids, they might really enjoy it,
right? Because
it's not like super difficult. It's like fun. Simple. It's witty. It's charming.
Yeah. Well, I say play Persona 5 if you have 130 hours to spare.
Yeah, so just find 130 hours.
Yeah, that's it's big bang for your buck. You can play that for the entire year. Good. It's good stuff.
That is a good point. Where if you do, and it's we'll get into this a little later with sales, but it is currently on sale.
Oh, is it?
It is. Yeah, $38.99. I would say. So
I say that's a deal.
It is. No, it totally is. It totally is. I'm not gonna say it like that, but yeah, it is totally a deal. Yeah. So those are currently stuff we're playing, and I guess I'll throw in there Fall Guys. I've played
Fall
a couple.
Guys is great.
I played a couple rounds of that. It's a great game where I mean honestly that.
So
that's
what is Fall Guys? If people don't know what Fall Guys is,
so if you have been living under a rock and you haven't been hearing of Fall Guys is a super new game by Mediatonic. It was free for August on PlayStation Plus. It's also available on Steam.
It's like $20, I think.
$20, yeah, that's good. It's a good price for it. It takes the battle royale format, mixes it with your Wipeout, Ninja Warrior, kind of platforming stuff. Super fun, super lighthearted, colorful, easy on the eyes. It's good, not graphically demanding. So if you are a PC player, I would imagine you would have a good shot at running it.
Yeah, it's essentially a rage-inducing game.
Yes.
That will keep
100%.
You going.
Yeah.
For hours.
It's one of those games where you can say, okay, yeah, I'll just play one more game and then I'll call it a night. And then, it's like 2 hours later and you're like, I'm a degenerate.
Yeah. No, I think Fall Guys is probably my recommendation this week. I think Fall Guys is easy to recommend to anyone. Like, I know Sam plays, my fiance. Sam plays Fall Guys all the time and, she doesn't like video games that much. And it's something that she thoroughly enjoys. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's a game for all audiences, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that.
And it's also a game where, like, when we had a full squad, so you can have 4 people, right? Max squad.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the most fun I've had with video games in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just such a great time. And again, like, even if you get knocked out, like, and if you're on like voice chat with everyone else in your squad, you can like heckle them, you can cheer them on. Like it's good to just hang out with people, and then also as a game itself for enjoyment. But when I was playing it like this past week, just had like people over, just like casually hang out, and we just like had on the TV like one person playing at a time. So it's great as like a spectator too, even if you're not actually playing. good crowd game.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. But the game we've mostly been playing for the past couple days that has taken up my dinner time is Avengers. Marvel's Avengers. We've been playing on PS4 Pro. Sorry, Xbox. Also sorry for
PC.
the lack. Yeah, and PC for lack of Spider-Man. Which, we don't really need to get into that. I think that's been, since that was announced, like, it's been kind of beaten to death in industry circles. But, so Avengers, we did both beat the campaign. I overall have good things to say about it.
What's your score?
What's my score for Avengers?
Yeah.
Campaign or online or everything?
Just everything. So do your objective score and do your feeling score.
Cool. Objective score 7.
Okay.
Feeling score 7.5. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game just came out. We're dipping our toes, honestly. Even though we beat the campaign, I think we're still just dipping our toes in it.
Yeah. My score is a 6. That's a 6 game.
6.
Yeah, that's a 6 game.
Woof.
Objective game. Objective score is definitely a 6 for me. Feeling scores, I'm actually more positive. I think it's an 8. I'm drawn to these type of games. So, play a lot of Destiny, play a lot of Diablo. So, that's definitely something that I thoroughly enjoy, end game stuff. So, and I just like these type of games where, those games as a service, because I get to hang out with my friends, after work, and I feel like I'm essentially, multitasking, spending time with friends, but also playing games that I like.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah. That is such a great facet of, game service, just like these online, heavily focused games in general. I think, they get flack, which is right, it's correct, but, what they do well and what their intention is can be very good, if you have the people to play with. And, echoing back to Ghost of Tsushima.
I say that's deserving of an 8.7, because if you keep bringing up Ghost of Tsushima.
But in this case, it's, we were kind of opposites with Ghost and Avengers, where you got Ghost because I kept harping on about it, but I literally only got Avengers because you kept harping on it, where you're like, dude, you need to pre-order it, we gotta play the beta this weekend. And I was super hesitant because honestly, if I can get into it now, when you see a game that's about the Avengers, there's so much on the line, right? There's such high expectations of how this is going to be. Are they just doing it as a cash grab because it's a hot topic?
Is lately? It high though? Because all right, my main thing with sure, it's kind of one of those things where now Marvel is this huge thing,
totally, yeah,
and people super care about it. And, superhero games are not what they used to be before. But, back when we were children, all of those superhero games were hot piles of garbage.
What?
Hot piles of garbage. I
don't know. I don't know
no high expectations whatsoever.
Yeah, back then. I don't know how well they've aged, but, X-Men Legends.
What's up?
X-Men Legends on
don't even
GameCube or OG Xbox. Dude, I love that game. Spider-Man on the N64 and PS1. And then, there's the black sheep in the room, Superman, for the N64 and PS1, where he's fly through rings. That one's super notorious. But yeah, ever since the induction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Starting with Iron Man, or maybe the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, which they've kind of just shoved out. That didn't happen. It blew up, which is great. I think people who are already fans in the comic series, they can appreciate it, and then everyone else who's into them, it's just a great boon for society, to be honest. And so for them to come out with an Avengers game, it's okay, is this there's a lot riding on this.
Was it too big to fail?
Was it? Sorry, what?
Was the game too big to fail?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right? Is it? Yeah. But that being said, I think the game did a great job with creating its own identity while also using the Marvel Cinematic Universe as its own advantage. Kind of where I come into why I say that is when the first images of the Avengers, the actual character model of the Avengers came out, I think a lot of people were wondering, why aren't they just using
like
the actual
Chris
actor.
Evans,
Why isn't Robert Downey Jr. in the Iron Man suit? And I definitely like that. That was my gut reaction too, because you just, when you think of Iron Man, I think of Robert Downey Jr.
Well, actors are expensive, and if you paid Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland and Scarlett Johansson and Chris Hemsworth to be in this video game, even just for their likeness, like in that one, that would be weird. But also, two, what do you call it? It would be very weird if you have Robert Downey Jr.'s face and then another person's voice comes out of Robert Downey Jr.
That'd just be wrong. But honestly, I'm happy even if they couldn't, like if they had the financial means to go that route, I'm happy they didn't, right? Because then I think people would have the pre-notion expectations that, okay, this is going to be based on the movies. Or, like, oh, where's Ultron? Where's Loki? Where's
in DLC
Thanos?
2 months later?
Yeah, maybe, right? I don't know. But, this way, since it's not based on the cinematic universe, they can take their own liberties to some extent, but they can do like a fresh storyline, which, obviously we see. So I think overall, good that they went with original character models. But, piggybacking on the idea of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the campaign had a very movie feel to it, which I freaking loved. Right? Like when Iron Man, we'll keep it spoiler free because the game literally just came out. There's a scene where like Iron Man's flying and like they have like music playing. Yeah. And the thing is like obviously like if the cinematic universe
it's not like random music, by the way. One thing that was very surprising to me is like they have rights to real music. Like I was like, I think they had like Iconopop in the game. They had Iron Maiden in the game. I was very confused.
So yeah, like that's obviously something not taken from the comic books, as there's no audio in those. But it's just like from the movie, like RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, like he would do that too. Like, and even when he was flying, like the UI of like Jarvis in the suit, pretty similar to that too. So it was cool. There were nice nods to it, and they really made it feel like you weren't just like playing a game; you were playing this movie. Right. It was a super fun experience, and if you don't have like other people to play with, because again, this is, as Ralph mentioned, a game as a service, dominantly online. Like I would say 90% of this game is online with other people doing missions. Think of Destiny. If you just want to play the campaign, I would not recommend throwing down 60 bones for this. I know it's kind of weird to say, but like there's always YouTube, right? Like the movie, or they just play like the cutscenes. Sure, I would personally go that route.
Yeah, but like, would you though? Like, here's the thing: like, would you spend the time, watching the cutscenes on YouTube just to not play this game? I think, like, to be honest, sure, yeah. If you don't have anyone else to play this game with, maybe it's not worth it, and it's not like a good use of your time. But I legitimately think, and I think part of this is that a lot of people were down on this game before it came out. And everyone was like, this is going to suck. Yeah. What is up with their faces? Why is this not? Totally. Why doesn't this look polished, right? And we'll get into that because it is not polished. But I think, saying that it's not worth, obviously people don't have the means to, just drop $60. But like, maybe somewhere down the line, I think it is worth just playing the campaign. Like, I think the campaign is a very interesting story. I think it's really heartwarming. It's really good. And, with the addition of, if you guys don't know, I would say, and I don't know if you would agree with this, the main character of the game is Kamala Khan, which is this person that's not in the Marvel movies. It's more so someone from the comic books and cartoons. Not yet, right? But like, she is relatively a new superhero. I don't know, because I'm not like a comic book person. Yeah, I'm not.
I had heard of her like 6 years ago. Right.
But like,
so relatively new.
She's relatively new. I would say she's the main character, and I think just like really interesting. The first 20 minutes of that game before everything hits the fan was, I think, like such a joy to play, and you're not even doing anything, like just being able to interact with things. Because like, even if you're not like, like a super fan of Avengers, but like you have a relative knowledge of who they are, like it'll warm your heart to like, walk around, and like it kind of reminded me of going to some kind of conference or something. And it was just like a cool thing to do. With the, you say that it's not worth the $60. I like, sure, maybe it's not worth the $60, but I would say like if you had like $40 to spare, like I think it is like worthwhile to just even play the campaign itself, and everything else is window dressing. The other aspect of it too is you don't need to play with friends, right? Like whatever you do, I want to clear this up for everyone. If you don't want to play with someone, or if you don't have friends to play with someone, you technically have the option, a terrible option, an option to have your heroes, the other heroes that you're building up, and they'll join you on that mission as well. So you can, I would say you can play this game completely single player if you really needed to.
True. And you can queue up like a looking for group kind of thing to find other people to help you out in the mission. Last night, after we were done playing in our session, I think it was like midnight, so nothing crazy for like a Saturday night, and I couldn't find anyone. Right. I was searching for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, the matchmaking is garbage.
Right.
So let's talk
I'm going to
about
double
what's
down
wrong
on
with
my
the games.
statement to say that if you don't have anyone to play with, I wouldn't. They'll probably patch that. They will definitely patch that. At this point, I would not suggest spending $60 if you do not have anyone to play with.
So my question with you is, are you having fun? So
I am, yeah.
Right.
I am having fun.
I think the game it's like weird because like I said, my objective score is a 6. Terrible game. But like my feeling score is like an 8. Because I just don't understand why I'm having fun with it. Maybe it's because I really like the Marvel movies and it's just like interesting and stuff. And there's something cool about just like you're playing as a superhero, right? So you're just like whipping people left and right and breaking people, and it's really fun, and just like I said, like the story of like doing good things, like in the face of adversity. I love
really cool. The ongoing theme of like the campaign is good isn't something you are, it's something you do. And I'm like, wow, you know what? Thank you, because that's proper English.
Yeah.
Because you say, how are you doing? You say you're doing well.
Yeah.
You see, you do good. But so
for those people that don't know, Alex used to be an English teacher.
Yeah, so I got a little grammar chuckle out of that one. So like that was a little corny, but like it's a superhero movie. It's still, as you said, like wholesome. Yeah, feels good.
It's definitely cheese. Yeah. I would suggest it with Avengers. Like, I would wait. Like, okay, yeah. I think that's a real thing. Like I said, I'm having fun because I'm playing with Alex. I'm sure to be honest, if any of you listening are playing the game, come join me and Alex like on Avengers, and we'd definitely love to have you and play with you.
Totally. That'd be fun.
But there's just a lot wrong with the game, and I definitely want to like tell people about that. One, the matchmaking is terrible. I don't think we've ever done a full lobby like in matchmaking ever.
Ooh.
Like we've gotten one random person, one random person
pretty consistently.
But we've never gotten a full lobby. There's something wrong there that is just not loading people, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have bought this game. The other thing too, this game is just it's broken. There's a lot of things wrong with the game. It's definitely playable, but like for certain missions where there's a lot of things on screen, a lot of assets on screen, a lot of particles on screen, it will literally crawl. Like it'll be like 5 frames a second. Like you're moving, but it's as if you're watching a stop motion video.
Yeah, like a PowerPoint. It chugs along pretty frequently. Like if you have like a full party, and the worst part is about that is when you have a full party and like massive enemies on screen, that's when you need the FPS to be its best. Yeah. Some of these enemies can do like 50% of your health in one shot. Right. Like the Peacemaker, the elite Peacemakers that shoot like the homing grenades or homing rockets. Those guys are brutal. And then like, so if your controller isn't, communicating as well with the system, which isn't communicating as well with your screen, like, it can get messy and like kind of irritating, because like, okay, well I should have been able to dodge that, but the game isn't, doing what it's supposed to right now.
Yeah, and like there's just like a bunch of bugs still. Like for instance, like I experienced this bug, I don't think Alex did, where like at the end of the mission, like sometimes when you finish a mission, like it'll turn into like this cool like slow motion kind of deal. But I got stuck in slow motion. So literally I had to reset the game because I was flying as Iron Man. I'm like, this doesn't feel right because I'm going like slow motion.
2 miles an hour.
It wasn't like a frame rate issue. It was like literally I was going like in slow motion. And then like there's this weird bug with like Captain America. If you use a specific skin, his face is all screwed up. Like it's very confusing. So like this game definitely came out hot. Like they're trying to, I'm sure they're going to try and patch it out as fast as they can. But it is not polished at the end of the game. I think when Alex and I first started playing the game, like it was like, oh, like this is great, like everything feels right, everything feels good. But as we were finishing the campaign, we started talking about like there's a lot of broken shit in this game. Like that makes no sense. So like, you know, I would wait until it's, you know, fixed up, but I would say like in 2 or 3 months, like this game is going to be like a contender for your time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I don't know if there are any end game stuff right now. I don't think it's out yet, but I think there's some end game stuff that is like power gated. If you don't know, like in Avengers, what do you call it? It's like like I said, it's a games as a service. So you build up your heroes and you gain more power. Throughout the game, as you get more power, I think more things open up to you. I know for a fact from watching some of the live streams, there's this thing called hives or whatever. And those are essentially like their raids, like very difficult end game content. I'm really excited to check that out whenever me and Alex get up there soon enough. Cool. Next week, yeah.
I'm not going to get there because I'm playing Persona 5.
Right. Yeah, so that's really been the huge, like, the thing that's stringing me along is these endgame raids, because some of, like, you know, redoing the missions in order to get your gear, it's kind of redundant. No, it's actually totally redundant. It's kind of stale. But at the same time, if I'm playing with you, like, at least we're hanging out. Like, we're talking, we're chilling. So it doesn't feel bad. But, the idea of, like, doing these endgame raids, like, looking for a group, like, actually getting people consistently that wanted to work on these super tough bosses and instances, like, that sounds like an awesome experience to me.
Right, and like I said, you know, if you want to jump on it now, like, jump in, and me and Alex will be very much happy to play with you. But like I said, like 2, 3, 4 months from now, there's a lot of potential for this game. Like, they can add more super villains, they can add more superheroes, they can add more content. Like, because the Marvel universe is such a rich, like, world, you know, it's kind of endless of what they can do. So
it is, yeah.
Like, there essentially is unlimited content if they play their cards right. So, you know, I would wait now, but, you know, jump in 3 or 4 months from now. It's definitely going to be on sale on Black Friday. There's no way it's not on sale on Black Friday. I would say it's like going to be $40 on Black Friday. So check it out then, and I hope me and Alex are still playing with it.
Totally. It seems like a game that I don't think I'll be consistently playing it for months and months and months. Right. But, you know, because the game is a service, when something is unveiled or implemented in the game, like a few months online, like, oh, cool, I can come back to this and check it out. Hopefully my Captain America will still be, you know, high level relative to whatever they've released.
And Captain America is not going to be as strong as my Black Widow.
Yeah, but so who do you want released in this game is the question. So we obviously know they...
Well, Spider-Man. Because I definitely would have bought this on PC if I, 1, wasn't playing with you, and 2, like, Spider-Man wasn't coming on PlayStation. And I know people are talking shit about, like, oh, like, why is Spider-Man on PlayStation? This is terrible. This is why. Why? Because people will buy it on PlayStation. Because you want to play as Spider-Man. That's just what it is.
I do wish, you know, the other platforms had their own representative, like Black Panther. Right. That would have been cool for, like, Microsoft.
For sure. Xbox. Well, the other thing, too, the other reason I'm super excited about Spider-Man is I believe either the game designer or, like, some of the engineers, they consulted with Insomniac on how to develop Spider-Man for the game, and they, like, got that perfectly in the Spider-Man game on PlayStation. So if that's the case, then this Spider-Man in Marvel Avengers is going to feel really great. Cool.
Yeah, I think, like, regardless, he's a great addition.
Yeah.
And it's he'll be welcomed, at least in some ways.
For a person that hasn't been added yet, I would say I'd love seeing, someone from the X-Men jump in.
100%.
Like, I'd be so down to play Wolverine. Wolverine was so good. Like, that'd be such a good addition. I know that's still a little bit weird right now because Marvel just bought the rights back. But, if you can get Wolverine into Marvel Avengers, I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I really hope the X-Men do make an appearance in this game, because as far as like the Marvel side of things, X-Men is like, that's where my heart is. Yeah. I love the cartoons. The movies lately have been not the greatest, but some of them have been pretty good. It's super dynamic cast of characters in the X-Men. We talked about this a little bit. Nightcrawler. Right. Yeah. I would main Nightcrawler in an instant if he was unleashed or unveiled in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I say Wolverine because I love Wolverine, but I don't.
Logan, fantastic movie.
Yeah, I don't think Wolverine would be an interesting character to play as because it very be samey to everyone else. But like, I think now that I think about it, like, just to differentiate the type of people you're playing, I think like any of the casters, like Scarlet Witch or like Doctor Strange, will be really interesting to play.
Yes. Doctor Strange, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot
magic shit.
Yeah. That'd be so cool. Huh. So any last thoughts on the Avengers? Or...
I say wait on Avengers.
Yeah.
Until like the holiday season. Be a really good time to play that once you have more time. And it'll be just a better game. Like that's what it is with games as a service, right? Like I used to be a Destiny player. I talk about Destiny as if it's like some terrible thing. But I used to be a Destiny player. I played like Anthem. Terrible.
Lol.
But like with games as a service, one thing that you can kind of look forward to is the game improving moving forward. Compared to other games that just launch, right? So, like, obviously with other games that just launch, like, yes, they'll fix things here and there. But with games as a service, like your Destinies, like your Anthems, there is definitely a lot of potential moving forward. Granted, we're getting, like, more games as a service games in the holiday season, too. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. It's tough because, in a few months, next gen will be out. We'll have some PS5 launch titles. Or at least near the launch window. Right. Obviously, COVID is interfering with a lot of stuff. So it's tough. I think this game will run really good on the PS5. You can run...
We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. Right? You can have 4K and high FPS, ideally. Right now, we're both running on high performance mode on our PS4 Pros.
And it's still terrible.
Yeah. High performance is not ideal performance sometimes.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but as Ralph said, game of service, so they'll get it right. It'll just be tough because, like, I'm looking forward to like Ratchet and Clank. If you guys did check into Gamescom, it looked really solid. And other launch titles that you're talking about too. So we'll get into that in a sec. But if none of these games you think jived well with you, you don't want to drop 60 bones on them. There are some deals, right? Some deals of the week. We like to talk about. So on the PS4 side of things, Last of Us 2 is down to 50.
Oh, okay.
Which
it just
isn't
came out,
crazy.
So, yeah,
it's not a crazy discount, but it's nice. I believe it was on the PS4 Essential Picks deal online. I didn't play Last of Us 2. Ralph, I know you had some highly regarded things to say about it if you want briefly.
Well, like I said, all right.
Oh boy.
Like my objective score for Last of Us 2 is a 10. I think it's a masterpiece. I think like
shit. Okay.
I would love to see what you think about Last of Us 2 whenever you play it. I don't know if you played Last of Us 1. Last of Us 2 felt like a book. Right. So I don't know if you used to be an English teacher, but when you would read a book in like high school and then like they tell you, all right, you need to like analyze the sentence.
Sure.
You need to write it. Like
I was that guy who told them to.
Right. Like I wrote in my margins. I don't think other people did. So whenever I would analyze stuff, I would write in my margins, do the dog folds. And I know, terrible habit. But that's what I would do. But it reminded me of that because a lot of the game was like, all right, like why did they structure it this way? Like it's interesting that they continued doing this theme and stuff like that. So that was interesting, and I think it's a very artistic and interesting game.
Cool.
My feeling score of it is probably like around like a 7, maybe like a 7.5.
Huge difference. That's cool. That's cool though.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think the gameplay's fine. I think like there's a lot of interesting contextual animations to it. Like, looks gorgeous and beautiful and stuff like that. So that, like I said, that goes to the objective score. I think personally, right now, I like can't. It's very negative. It's a very negative game, and it's just not a good game to make you feel good.
Like, the tone is like negative, depressing.
Yeah, and that's totally fine, and that's what it was trying to go for, right? And like, just in the current climate that we have right now, like, it's just not something I want.
You need more Paper Mario in your life.
Maybe Paper Mario's the thing, but it was just like a lot, and like I'm not itching to go back to play the game. Right.
Okay. So you beat it. You're one and done.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with the game. Like I'm like, should I platinum this? No, I'm not gonna platinum it. It's fine.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was a good game. Like I said, if you're looking for something interesting, something thought provoking, it is a very divisive game. I think you should check it out. $50 is a good deal. Like, I bought it full price. So
yeah, you and like everyone else.
Yeah,
except for me.
For sure, you should check it out, man.
Yeah, I definitely need to. Like, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I don't beat them both.
Well, you're a podcaster now, so
exactly. So now it's my job.
Yeah.
Code Vein, $30. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I have never played it, but I know it's like anime
Dark Souls. Yeah.
So if you're a weeb like Alex,
or after you're done with your 150 plus hour trek of Persona 5,
Persona 5 is on sale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should check that out.
Persona 5 Royal is on sale for $38.99.
That is a steal. That is a steal, sir.
Before I bounce back into Code Vein for a hot sec, this isn't the all-time low for Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
GameStop, they had a daily deal where they did P5R for $35, and they gave you a, Fox?
A Fox mask?
Huh?
A Fox mask?
I don't remember his name. The guy with the blue hair.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The artist guy. They gave you like a Funko of him.
Oh, I was going like a Fox mask?
Yeah, no. They gave you the Funko of him and the game.
That's not as exciting, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
For $35 though.
It's because no one bought the Funko.
Yeah.
Everyone's buying Ryuji and On, so.
Yeah, right. I think for that price, it's okay, if you haven't played the original, stop listening and buy it. 100%.
If you haven't played the original, I bet you can play. I bet you could buy the original for $10.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah, I think I don't think you should buy the original. Just
buy Royal. There's so much added stuff. Like,
yeah, it's essentially the perfect edition,
and it's easy. It's much easier, but that's just coming from me because I played so many Persona.
You're a veteran. Code Vein is $30. I played it last year at PAX West. Just because it was a game with not that long of a line, and now I know why.
Because it's on sale.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's been out for kind of a while, but it's so. And I wanted to get it, so I checked into the Reddit community. What do people have to say? The people that like it like the game,
right?
Like they're sticking around in the community. They understand its shortcomings. It generally seems that way. So it's not perfect. But if you're looking for a Souls game that isn't totally I don't think it's that hard. I think you have an AI companion you can use or you can turn them off, and it has this kind of anime feel to it. Maybe that's up your alley. I think the worst thing I was kind of seeing was it's uninspired.
But it's anime.
Oh well, I don't know. Yes and no, I guess. It's uninspired. In fact, the environments are drab. They reuse the textures. And
so it's a deal of the week that you don't recommend.
I personally would not. But also, $30. And, if you're looking for, again, it has, the high-paced action of that Souls game.
You could get Persona 5 for $38.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, exactly. If you have the time for Persona 5, or, honestly, even if you don't think you have the time, you'll probably make time. Mm-hmm. That's how that game works.
Right.
It's super good. On the Nintendo side of things, we've got, since the Nintendo Direct with the Mario's 35th anniversary, some of the first-party Nintendo games are on sale. I've got Super Mario Bros. U, which I've played. I did really enjoy. Have you played those?
Yes, but I hate them.
I hate
chaotic platformers. They're terrible.
Mayhem.
Any platformer I play up is garbage.
Yeah.
It's a stupid game.
There's more so with this one because you can like jump on each other. I remember we played the one on the Wii.
Yeah, and you can throw people, right?
Yeah.
Terrible.
If you have like one other person, I think it's super manageable.
Yeah.
Like I played with my ex. Yeah. And it was fine.
Yeah.
There's also Mario Maker 2 and Splatoon 2.
How much is Mario Maker 2?
So they're all three of those: Super Mario Bros. U, Mario Maker 2, and Splatoon 2 for $40.
Okay.
First party Nintendo, like that's fine.
Like I said, Nintendo games never go on sale, and I think the Switch is the first. The Switch is the first time like Nintendo has put games on sale. Like it's very interesting. They're very much behind everyone else. Like Legend of Zelda was a launch game, and it's still $60. Granted, fantastic game. Everyone should play it, but there is no reason that game should still be $60. You can play You can buy God of War, which came out later than.
It's on sale for Zelda, $15 right
and
now.
You can buy it for $15.
Yeah,
which is crazy to me.
I think the Nintendo games are super weird because I think with the case with a lot of like PS4 and Xbox One games, once they go on sale, they typically stay at that price or they hover around that. With Nintendo, like if you don't get these this week, it'll jump back up to 60.
Right.
Like Breath of the Wild last year for Black Friday. I could be mistaken. If I am, please let me know. Through email or comments. I think it was like 25 or 30 Black Friday, which is bananas. I was super close to buying it, but I'm like, I don't have time for this.
You've never played Zelda?
Breath of the Wild I've played. I haven't like played it enough.
You don't have it?
No.
You can borrow mine.
Because again,
you can borrow mine. That game is really good.
Well, okay, maybe after we're done with like Avengers, because I'm on that drag right now.
You'll never be done with Avengers.
Game as a service, right? I think it's a good segue from those deals to go into the news the video game news from this last week. So the Mario 35th anniversary. What's tough with having this podcast now and having Ralph as a good friend is whenever we hear about the news, we just want to talk about it with each other. Right. We want to like get in depth into it, like hear what each other say. But we over this past week, like we've had to like restrain ourselves so much. Like, okay, I'll just like kind of bring this up, but then like save our comments for the podcast.
It's fine. It's gonna be a 4-hour podcast. I'm already looking at the runtime and like, holy shit.
Yeah, we're good. We're honestly like this is fun.
Yeah.
It's a good vibe. So let's just keep it going, right? So the Mario 35th anniversary, you liked it.
Yeah. No, like. I know that you were really down on the announcements, but I thought it was like really interesting and cool. And I don't know what Nintendo is doing, but they're shadow dropping all these like Nintendo Directs, and I don't know why. They're just like, oh, maybe I'll just do some surprises. But like,
I love it. It's the Apple approach, right?
I would say this is super weird. The highlight of that anniversary, at least for me personally, is the fucking like. Remote control cars that allow you to play Mario Kart. I know it's definitely not aimed for me. It's definitely aimed for children, but I think it's super cool. So if people don't know, it didn't have. I think it's like $100.
It's $100. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you haven't like listened to the Direct. Essentially, what it is that it's a remote control car, an RC car that you control with your Nintendo Switch, and the remote control RC car has a camera on top of it. And you can essentially play Mario Kart with a real remote control RC car in real life. And it's essentially Mario Kart. It's like augmented reality, mixed reality kind of deal, where you can make a track and a course, and I think you can play with another player. I believe there was like a Luigi person.
Yeah, there's a Mario and Luigi at launch.
It's very expensive because, one, you have to have a Switch, and two, you have to buy this stupid game. But I think Nintendo just has like, as a company, what I really appreciate about the Nintendo is that they just try weird shit. Like they're like, let's see if this sticks.
Totally.
And it's something that I was like, this is cool.
Let's put a handle on the back of this GameCube.
Right. Yeah, but I thought the Direct was really cool. That was definitely my highlight personally, and I know other people's highlights are the other things. With the 35th anniversary, I know that you were a little bit more negative than it, but they're releasing all of Nintendo 64's Mario and Sunshine and Mario Galaxy onto the Switch. That's super cool, and that's super interesting as one package. It's $60. They're up-resing it, so I think it's like the first time you're playing it on the Switch. So that's cool and interesting for people. A little bummed that Galaxy 2 is not included in that package, though, which is kind of...
Yeah, there's been a lot of comments about that. I played Galaxy, love that game, love the soundtrack.
Right.
The OST of Galaxy is muy bueno.
Right.
I haven't played Galaxy 2, unfortunately. I heard it's just that game, but better.
Right. So that was a little bit weird. But I think the other sleeper hit of this Direct was Mario 35. I showed Sam, like I said, my fiance, wonderful, beautiful fiance, Mario 35. And what that game is essentially Super Mario Brothers Tetris 99. And where you're fighting against 35 other Mario players.
Battle Royale means Mario.
Yeah, and you're sending enemies to their screen as you're playing Mario. And if you die, you just disappear. And I think that's a really interesting concept. Not going to play it, because I'm terrible at platformers. Utter garbage. But when I showed Sam, she was so excited. She's like, buy it right now. I'm like,
it's not even out.
I'm like, it's not out yet. and she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, it comes out in October. And she's like, all right, that's not bad. How much is it? And I'm like, oh, it's free.
Yeah.
if you have the online thing. So she was super excited like that. I think, even as someone that's not super into Mario, because I hate platformers and they're probably the worst games ever made, and I will die on that hill. I think for people that love Mario and are very excited about Mario stuff, that definitely scratched an itch for them. Because if you're a Mario fan, it's not like you're not going to buy the collections. You're just going to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay, so my favorite thing was also the RC cars.
Cool.
Yeah, I was literally like, I feel like I just reverted back
as a child
to like an elementary school where I would, if I was in elementary school, like, I would lose my shit.
You'd be the coolest kid in the class.
Well, I don't know about that. I was like, I could totally see myself wanting this, like begging my parents for it. Like, it's just $100 for a toy. Like, come on,
it's $100 for a toy, but I also need a Nintendo Switch, which is $300.
So buy me both. No, it's cool, right? Like, it's definitely, it's out of the box. It's using their properties in different creative ways. And even if you aren't going to buy it, I think you have to respect it to some degree. Like, they take risks. They live and die by those risks, which is super cool on Nintendo's part. So, honestly, kudos. So, my thing is, I'm definitely going to buy Super Mario 3D World. Okay. With, like, the Bowser's Fury expansion or whatever. Like, because I really wanted to play that game. I did not have a Wii U, though. I know you did. Mm-hmm. So now I can. And, it'll be $60. Should it be $60? Whole nother argument. Whatever. It's
Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo tax.
But the thing is, like, they got me. I'll pay for it because I don't play it. It's fine for me, I guess, because I never played in the first place. But the with the triple release of Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1 is...
Why wasn't Nintendo World in that package?
I was going to go that route. But, like, with Super Mario 64, they, like, barely touched those graphics. Like, after that, I literally searched on YouTube, Super Mario 64 HD, and there's a fan version that looks so much better than that. Mm-hmm. Which is so wild to me that, like, okay, we're not asking for a remake. We're not asking for a Final Fantasy VII remake here. But you can, like, there's still edges on his, like, corners. Yeah. He's not just, like, rounded out like in Sunshine. So I don't know. It felt lazy. Okay. Right? Like, it felt lazy to me. And the thing is, like, everyone knew that this 35th anniversary was
was coming because it was like elite.
It was super elite. So I was like, okay, when is this going to happen? I thought they were going to release a new Mario Kart. They kind of did, I guess, with this toy. Mobile? Yeah, with this. This toy. But like, no, like it's fine. They will get my money regardless. But with the triple release, it feels lazy.
So you're the problem. Terrible news for you. Terrible news for Alex. But you're like, please take $120 from me, even though I No.
I'm gonna buy Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D.
You're not getting the.
I'm not getting the triple.
Sam told me to pre-order. She loves Mario.
Yeah,
this is the only thing she likes to play. So she literally told me pre-order it right now.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, people in the YouTube comments were like, they loved it. They're like, yes, like I really want this on my Switch. I can play it. Like, if this jives with you, like that's great. Like, I'm obviously not going to bring anyone down. Like, if you like it, you like it. Cool. Like, end of story. It does, like, that particular release doesn't work for me, but one of the other ones does. So, it's kind of a win-win.
For sure.
They're also releasing a Game & Watch Mario thing.
Not excited about it.
Yeah, so it's $50.
$50?
It seems just like a collector's item.
Right. Yeah, no, but can't you play all of those games on your Switch?
You definitely aren't buying it to play the games. You're buying it to, like, display it. Like, that's what I got out of it.
Well, here's the thing. My one thing with that, too, is just, like, why release that? I would be... You know what made this... Like... I was still very positive on this Direct.
Yeah.
But, like, I would have been so excited for a Nintendo 64 Mini or a Game Boy Mini. Why release this Mario one and then just that? It's just like a flash in the pan. Like, if they did... Let's say they didn't do the collection, but it was a Nintendo 64 Mini, and obviously because it was the Mario Direct, the main focus was... You know, let's say it was Mario, Super Smash Brothers, OG,
that'd be so
like
cool,
Mario Kart, like all of those people. That would be fantastic. Those would be the main focuses. But like on Edition, like I would die if you could be like Pokemon Stadium 2.
Oh, those mini games. That freaking brings me back.
Right, like F-Zero. Like they're like F-Zero, I'm so surprised that they haven't done that. Like that would have made that direct the Direct super hype and super cool, but I guess that didn't happen.
That one was just for Mario.
Right. So, like, I guess, like, yes, maybe for the people that are collecting that stuff is super cool. Like, I have, for some reason, I have an SNES Classic and then the NES Classic minis as well. Don't really use them, because
if you have the Switch online,
right, most of them. But, like, I would totally be down to do an N64 or a Game Boy Classic, because there's definitely a lot of games on there
Game Boy Classic
that I think are like my speed. Like we grew up on those games, so
totally.
It's definitely something I'd be down for. But yeah, I think it was generally a positive Direct. It's like I think it's interesting that you say that you were a little bit more negative on it, because there's definitely stuff in that Direct that I was excited for. And there's definitely been Directs where they've launched, I'm like, I don't care for any of these games.
True. I guess the fact that it's like, this is Mario,
the big
right?
one.
35th anniversary, like, and there's been hype building periodically throughout the year. So I guess the hype hurt me.
Okay.
In a sense. But like, I don't know, there was some stuff that won me over, obviously. So kind of going back with the idea of, these games being re-released, another hot topic has been in the news for this week and, last week too, the PS5 backwards compatibility. This nebulous,
where do you stand on that?
Confusing idea.
For people that don't know what that is, and like I said, because I think we're going to have a range of listeners out there.
Yeah.
What is backwards compatibility?
So it's basically saying, hey, I've got this PS5, but I also had a PS4 and a PS3. Can I still play these games on the PS5, right? And Xbox has saying, yeah, sure, right? Just shoot the disc in, we'll hook you up, we'll be able to help you play it. And the PS4, Sony, I guess in general, has been pretty bad. Yeah. That's a fair statement to say about backwards compatibility. With the PS3, the super fat one could play PS2 and PS1 games. But then when they released the slim one, which I actually had, you couldn't do PS2 games. So I think you could do PS1 though.
Where do you stand on the backwards compatibility? Do you care?
So I personally don't. I care, but I wouldn't use it.
Right.
I feel like you should have it. Okay. You should at least have it for PS4.
Okay. Well, they do have PS4.
Well, they said their top 100 games.
Right. Okay.
Which, again, what does that really mean?
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I personally don't care.
Yeah.
Because, like, and I know there's people out there like, oh, I bought all of these games.
Yeah. I think Ralph and I understand why people care. Right. Obviously, it's in the news for a reason. But for us particularly, we wouldn't get a lot of use out of it. I think,
personally, like, I don't care. You're buying a PS5 to play PS5 games. Like, obviously, they're like, we're taking the top 100 PS4 games and putting it to PS5. And those are the games that you should care about. Those are the only games
God
that
of War.
you're going to
probably Persona 5 Royal. Yeah.
Right. So like, you know, for people that are causing such a, and this is a hot take, and granted,
there's an uproar, right? Huge uproar.
Like there's a huge uproar for it, but like, do you care? Like, does it matter? Right? Like, are you like, let's say PS5 comes out. You're like, I'm playing PS5, playing Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yes.
I'm playing the new Watch Dogs Legion. I'm playing Valhalla, like Assassin's Creed. So you're telling me, instead of playing those games, you want to go back and play a PlayStation 2 game when you just bought the PS5?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'll never be one to harp on, like, oh, they absolutely need backwards compatibility. What bothers me most from Sony about this is there hasn't been a statement, a concrete statement, like, oh, like even if you say the top 100 PS4 games will be backwards compatible on the PS5, what does that really mean? Like, who's making this top 100 list? Where is it coming from? Can you tell us?
Well, the other thing too is I think they really got put into the corner by Xbox here.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. It's a game of chicken. Like, totally.
Well, regardless of what they say, Xbox is gonna win this war. Because they're already saying, we've spent the amount of time, we've spent the amount of investment in making sure that Xbox 360 games are going, some Xbox games are going to be backwards compatible on the 360, right? So regardless of what PlayStation is going to say, like, they're not going to have what Xbox has. They haven't spent the resources or the investment in trying to create backwards compatibility, because obviously it hasn't been, they don't care about it. Like, let's just be frank about it. They don't care about backwards compatibility. And I think in their minds, they probably have numbers in their back end, like, how many people out there are really playing these old games?
Yeah.
Right, so...
And, I mean, if there's one thing to learn about the PS4 is, you know, they didn't have backwards compatibility.
It's fine.
And it was it was probably one of my favorite systems.
Yeah. Well, that's because there's a lot of good games on the PlayStation.
Yeah, there's a fantastic amount of great games on there. So I get it's a topic and like, oh, they don't have backwards compatibility. So then people just make arguments. They kind of make uproar for the sake of doing that. A little annoying, but I get why people might want to go back to some of the games they play. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you did buy it. And there's not a lot of resale value.
Yeah, so, well, what do you call it?
So what do you do with it?
I'd love if I could play Monster Rancher again, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, is that PS2? PS1?
Yeah, PS2.
Yeah.
Oh, best game.
So, yeah, I guess, like, that's our stance. And, like, it would be nice. It'd be a nice cherry on top.
It would be nice, but, like...
I'm not losing any sleep.
Honestly, like, am I going to play Monster Rancher? One of the best gifts...
You might boot it up.
Well, no, like... What do you call it? One of the best gifts Sam has ever given me for Christmas. She bought me a PlayStation 1. Like a PlayStation 1. Yeah.
That's
like,
cool. All right.
That was the moment where I'm like, I'm going to wife this one. I'm going to marry this girl.
That's cool.
But she bought me a PlayStation 1, and I turned it on that night. And then I don't think I played. Like, because honestly, like, yes, it's cool, like, play Final Fantasy VIII again, you know, there's a bunch of other games that she bought for me, like Digimon World 3. I know, I have, like, the weirdest taste. But
it's cool. So you like what you like.
Right. Know? So, but, like, honestly, if you're telling me, I'm like, oh, I'm going to boot up this PlayStation 1, but not play God of War, and not play Avengers, and not play all of these new games that are better games for all intents and purposes, and what do you call it? Are just like it's generations after. Yeah,
some games you just haven't aged as well as
right.
You know, like my friends and I, maybe like a year ago, we were playing GoldenEye.
Yeah,
and like
you can't look down.
Everyone has such great fond memories of GoldenEye that are, you know, like 20s and 30s, and it sucks. Honestly, like, it sucks.
Yeah.
You aim with the yellow directional buttons on the N64 controller, and compare that to just, like, your right thumbstick on your modern-day controllers, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
It's night and day.
So what you're saying, is we don't care.
I mean, I think they should, just to please the people who do like it. Like, if Microsoft can do it, why can't Sony?
All right, I have a question for you then.
Okay.
So, literally, which one would you prefer? They added backwards compatibility, but they delayed God of War 3 years.
I personally would say screw backwards compatibility.
Exactly.
But you and I we have similar mindsets on this.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, again, like I understand why people want it. It seems just like why isn't this on here? Like, why not just include it? You know, like we're not game devs. Like, it's not as simple as did you just not want to give us that right? There's definitely way more going on there in the inside. Well, of the console. Here's the thing.
And like I said, I'm sure. I feel like you want us to move on from this, but if you
it's cool. If you want to keep talking about it,
if you want to play your PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 games that you own, right? Because I'm assuming you own them because they're backwards compatible,
right?
And they're just hanging around. Play them on your PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2. Like, what's so terrible about that? If you really wanted to play them, play them on your old systems,
right?
And if you don't have an old system, you can buy them for like $30. And I know that sounds super.
That's true.
And that sounds super reductive. And I'm sure not everyone has the means to buy another thing for $30, and that's a thing. But like, if you really did care, like it makes no sense to me. If you really did care and you're buying a PlayStation 5 that I'm assuming is like $500, $600, like you can afford a $30 system to play your old games if you really cared.
Yeah. I guess in that sense, so I was hanging out with my buddy probably like a couple months ago. He doesn't have like a whole lot of games, but he does have he has Soul Calibur 5 and Soul Calibur 6, which is on the PS4, and Soul Calibur 4, which is on the PS3.
Yeah.
And like we played 6 for a little bit, and we're like, all right, this isn't as good. So we boot up Soul Calibur 4, which is the one that has like Darth Vader, Yoda.
Yeah.
Like that one, I really love that game. So we did have to like manually switch between PS3. But it would have been nicer if we could just boot up on the PS4. Yes, totally. But like that situation, it rarely comes up. And people who I have talked to who are gamers, interested in the industry, they don't seem to be as passionate about backwards compatibility as the news makes it seem.
Yeah.
So listeners, I'll ask you, like, what's your take on it? Please let us know. I think we spent a lot of time on this, but
I'm so sorry.
No. It's cool. Like it's a huge topic in the industry nowadays. What's your take? Are you the opposite of us? Do you live and die by backwards compatibility, or are you like, meh, it'd be nice to have, but whatever, not live and sleep over it? That's been going on since Gamescom, which it's a great segue into our Gamescom conversation. Man, I miss game cons.
Yeah.
Like, for the past couple years, like, I've been going to one every year.
Yeah.
Starting with E3 back in 20...
I haven't even been to E3, and I'm working the games industry. It's
2016, I went to E3, then 2017, 2018, went to PAX West.
Yeah.
PAX West is cool.
Yeah.
It would be going on right now, actually. Labor Day weekend. But,
as Alex says sadly into his microphone.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully next year. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So Gamescom, it's over in Germany, which I would love to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So Raid Shadow Legends, if you could sponsor us so we can go to Gamescom, that would be fantastic. I don't know. Not a whole lot was revealed at this Gamescom, regarding like what it usually looks like for when you can have a bunch of people, viewers, spectators go live and other game studios. But we saw World of Warcraft Shadowlands. It's like the newest expansion. That game, that MMO has been out since 2004. And they're releasing another expansion. That just seems nuts to me.
Right.
I've played WoW for a little bit. That's besides Avengers, that's my only experience with looters. But yeah, I don't know. It's like 8th or 9th expansion, released since 2004. Like, Blizzard they've been in the news for some bad stuff lately. But like with Hong Kong and whatever. Yeah. But if they're keeping players back, keeping them coming back, and helping them out with this, good for them, honestly. Another big thing was Fall Guys Season 2. That's still, like, a lot of hype from, like,
The
other, like,
medieval
next-gen stuff.
Yeah.
Be like, as soon as Fall Guys 2 came out, like, oh, this is great, this is all I care about, whatever. Did you have a chance to, like,
Yeah, no,
look at some stuff?
I literally just watched the teaser, and I'm like, this
Cool.
is good stuff. Because, like, Sam and I have been talking about it, and I think I've been talking to you about it, too, where I'm like, I think this is a fantastic concept. It's a really good game. Like, I hope they keep on going somewhere and developing it,
iterating, implementing,
right? Because after, I think like I would still jump in like here and there with Fall Guys,
totally,
but after like the 4th day of us playing Fall Guys like back to back, like, okay, I'm kind of like done with this.
We played it to death.
Right.
Like, there was a day, I think, when the PS4 Avengers beta came out.
Yeah.
Like, we set up 2 TVs, our PS4s, grabbed a couple of drinks, and just played the heck out of Fall Guys.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. So
but, like, fun. You know, are you still playing Fall Guys now, like, regularly? I don't think so.
Definitely not regularly,
yeah,
no.
So.
Very
like,
much here and there.
Like,
though.
after, like, such playing it for a long time, you're like, okay, I know what this game is about. So,
yeah.
As they add more minigames, I think it's going to revitalize that game. So it's going to be great.
Like, Season 2, I will definitely expect us to, like, hop back in.
Right.
Be degenerates and play for several hours at a time. But yeah, like, honestly, like, it's still popping, like, on Twitch.
Right.
It's still super popular. The community's great. Like, the community manager, like, their Twitter, have you checked it out?
Yeah.
Like, whoever is in charge of that Twitter feed, whether it's one person or a few, like, brilliant. Like, that makes me want to play the game alone. Yeah. Honestly.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, like, I don't know if you saw the teaser trailer, right?
I did. For Gamescom,
there's a lot of, like, more complex games in there where
more,
you're
like,
pushing some stuff. And I'm like, this is going to be terribly
like, people
awful.
don't know how to operate a friggin' seesaw. And you're telling me I need to go on this block, communicate with the wolf skin
to move
the block to get me over there. When
it'll be
interesting.
We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. Ratchet and Clank for the PS5. Did you? No. Okay. So with that, they basically just showed off gameplay.
Yeah.
Really just overemphasizing, hey, this system has an SSD. Right. We're using it.
Quick
right.
loads, yeah.
So they would no load time. So that and like just going between the riffs, super seamless, super good looking. Showed some gun gameplay. Looks like everything's there's like a sprinkler gun.
Yeah,
that looked really cool. So I'm excited for this game. Ratchet and Clank is always like, do I buy $60?
Did you play this? Did you play the
PS4 one?
The PS4 one?
Yeah, I did.
It's $40.
What was it?
It launched at $40. How dare you?
I think I got it like 30.
Yeah.
And that I was like, okay, I'm happy I spent $30 on this because I feel like with Ratchet and Clank games, I haven't played like 2 of them, so I'm pretty like
fresh.
I'm established in the Ratchet and Clank. When I start to like get in the motion of Ratchet and Clank and like I'm really feeling it, like that's when the game is winding down and hitting its climax. So like, I always want more content out of it because like the gunplay is so good. Like,
they have interesting weapons, right? Yeah. Like that's always been like their thing.
Yeah, so. And like you level them up. There's like upgrades and stuff. And the characters, they're refreshing, they're wacky, whatever. Okay, they're fun. I hope the game's longer, or maybe there's like some online multiplayer component to it, which they have done in the past, I guess. Yeah,
with Gamescom, it's been a weird year, obviously.
Yeah.
And I knew it was happening, but I just didn't feel like watching any of the news from Gamescom. I think I'm just a little bit torn down and like worn out by all of these like consistent news because
it's been a hard year. Yeah.
Right. So. And it's not just Gamescom. I think every conference in general, like moving forward, like this year specifically, I just need someone or like some place or some organization to just consolidate all of the news so I can tell myself, oh, I need to focus in on this week and that'll be it. You know, because it's so hard to keep track of all of these conferences. There's a Ubisoft Forward, there's a WB Fandom, there is
totally
a Sony whatever, Nintendo Shadow dropped a Nintendo Direct, what do you call it, I don't know, like Devolver Digital did something like with, you know, the physical events, and obviously we can't do them now, but like I just need someone to just decide that everything is happening on this week, because it is such a confusing thing for a consumer that doesn't have that much time to like scan Twitter, YouTube every 3 seconds to figure out if news came out. So Gamescom was kind of a bust for me this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly, I just miss the cons in general.
Yeah.
I hope next year will be good. We'll be able to all attend them safely. Because, at the end of the day, if we can't do it safely, there's no reason to have it. But, like, E3, like, we were talking about this a little bit in the car, such a great hub of information. I know, like, E3 has been kind of on the decline lately, whatever, but when it is great...
You got excited, though. You get excited.
Yeah, you get excited, like...
June happened, you're like, what's going to be announced here?
There's so much hype behind it, and, yeah, the industry has been... It's been a little lacking this year because of COVID. And obviously it doesn't help the hardware development either on that like supply chain.
Well, the only thing that I was excited about that like felt like E3 this year was the PlayStation conference. That was the only thing I was excited about.
Which was great.
Because it felt like, like PlayStation did an E3 conference. So I just don't understand why Ubisoft needed to like segment their different conferences. Like, they have Ubisoft Forward, like, a couple of months ago or, like, a couple of weeks ago, and they have one coming up. Like, just make it into one thing around everyone else so that people can just focus on stuff. And I know everyone's trying to find, the time to make sure that they're the ones that are being highlighted, but it's, at one point, I think people are going to be worn out and fried, and people are not going to care, which is what happened to me, because I, like, didn't even watch anything from Gamescom.
Interesting. Yeah, it's harder to get information than it should. Like, they want to deliver this information to everyone, so, like, why does it seem like kind of a chore? Why does it seem like a little bit of a hassle? I do agree with that. Obviously, there's sites like IGN, GameSpot that are information hubs for that. And honestly, like, when I was... the last couple days when I was reviewing some of the stuff for Gamescom, it was hard to find on those websites. Yeah. Like, which is bizarre to me. In other Gamescom news, other stuff, if there's anything we didn't touch on, please let us know for that.
Because I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay, man. But as far as that, I think we're going to wrap up our episode now. So, thank you for sticking around for our very first episode. It was a big one. It was huge. We're going to keep this up.
About to hit 2 hours.
Weekly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was honestly, we were like, okay, this will go on for like an hour 15. Pushing 2.
And then Alex is like, I'm going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima for 40 minutes.
Right. My bad. I guess I liked it more than an 8, right?
So, like, where are you at? Like, 8.9?
I'll stick at 8.5.
8.9? Like, what's going on there?
So our schedule for this podcast is going to be weekly. We record on Sundays, so you will see them every Monday, right? Unless something terrible happens and we can't podcast, we can't record. But we'll try our best. I think we'll be pretty good with that schedule. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to like us on Instagram, Twitter, shoot us some DMs there, or if you want to shoot us an email, we're over at professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com. And yeah, Ralph, I think that's all we got. Any last comments for the fans?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining us. I had a blast today. I know we just rambled, and I'm sure that we'll get better moving forward. But if you guys have any discussion topics as well, send those over to any of our platforms, like the emails or the social media sites. And any notes that you guys may have, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I know it's a long podcast. But if you have any notes at all for us to improve the podcast, we would really appreciate it. But yeah,
for sure. It was a great time, and you know what? See you next week, and as always, keep it casual.